Okay, here's our video on probability with the complement. And we talked about the complement in the last video. So again, the complement is not contained in the event. So let's say I had a probability of getting a red card in a standard deck of cards. And in a standard deck of cards, usually there are black or red cards. So if I say what's the probability of getting a red card, the complement would be getting a black card. Okay? Okay, and remember with probability there are 52 cards in a deck. So the probability of getting a red card would be 26 out of 52, right? Because they have each the same amount of cards. So again, the complement here would be getting a black card. So again, one more time, the complement is not contained in the event. In math language, we write probabilities of an event like this. So we use that capital A here. So this is the probability of an event. And the complement is written this way. It has that A with an exponent on top, a 1. So again, this is the probability of an event, and this is the complement, how the complement is written. Now in probability, we can use numbers 0 to 1. We can use numbers 0 to 1. 0 means impossible, and 1 means certain. Almost certain. We say 100% certain. So we can make this chart, and we can have 0 here, and we can have 1 here, and all the numbers in between. So 0.5 we know is half. So there's a 50-50 chance of getting that probability. Like when we flip a coin, for example, right? You can either get heads or tails. There's a 50-50 shot there, right? So again, 0 is impossible, and then we have unlikely. We have an even chance, likely, and certain. And some people use different vocabulary terms like highly likely and so forth. So you can pretty much look at certain ways of saying it, but in general, people usually say unlikely or likely, and then whatever's in between that. So again, 0 means impossible, and 1 means certain. Now sometimes we can look at things and say, what's the probability of it raining in the Sahara Desert, right? And it's very close to impossible. Or you can say, what is the chance of it snowing in July? Well, you may be close to 0, but it has happened in the past. Let's look at another event. Let's say the probability of getting a playing card higher than 2. So again, remember there's 52 cards in a deck, and each number has 4 cards. So the probability of getting a card higher than 2 is pretty good, because there's 52 cards, and there's 48 cards higher than 2. So you can say that's pretty likely. So from 0 to 1, how would you label that? It's close to 1. It's very close to a 1. You might even say a 0.9% chance. Or you can just look at 48 over 52 and it will tell you its percentage. And the percentage of 48 over 52 is about 0.92. So again, you can estimate and say it's 0.9. It's not a 1. 1 means it's certain to happen. It's absolutely certain to happen. And many things are not absolutely certain to happen, right? Besides death and taxes. So 0.92, or you can just say 0.9. So on a scale, on a number line, if this was a 1 and that was a 0, it's close to here of getting a card higher than 2. Now, what will be the complement? The event is a playing card higher than 2, so the complement is a playing card that is 2. And since 2 is the lowest card, you can't say less than 2. Unless you're saying the ace. Now here's where you can get tricked. Now the ace sometimes is the highest card, and sometimes the ace is used as the lowest card. So in this example, I use the ace as the highest card. So the complement here would be a playing card that is 2. And the complement would then be, the probability will be 4 out of 52. Probability will be 4 out of 52. Okay, and 4 out of 52 is it's a 0.07. It's very low. So it'll be roughly somewhere around there. 4 out of 52. Okay, there's a formula in math though we can get the complement. Here's the formula here. So here's the complement. It's that a with that exponent 1 on top of it. So if we do 1 minus the event, we'll get the complement. So let's use an example with the playing cards. So remember in the playing cards we did 48 over 52, the chance of getting a card higher than 2. And that was, it was roughly 0.92. It's not exactly 0.92. It's like 0.923 and so forth. So roughly it's 0.92. And we said with the probability of getting a 2 was 4 out of 52, which is roughly around 0.07. It's actually more than 0.07. But we can get the exact complement by just doing 1 minus the event. So it would be 1 minus 0.92 if we're rounding, and we'll get the complement here, the 1 on top, roughly about 0.08, because 0.92 and 0.08 will give us 1. Right? It's not exactly 0.08, it's actually 0.072 and so forth. But this will be rounded, and you'll get an answer. So in general, it's 1 minus the complement will give 1 minus the event. That is, 1 minus the event will give you the complement that we did here. So again, 0.92 was the event, and we just 1 minus that event and gives us the complement. Okay, great job.